Callie Young.
Talk to Callie's coaches and they'll agree the sophomore has an insatiable work ethic, mix hard work with talent, and you have a dynamic three-sport athlete, a 2-year starting shortstop and leadoff hitter in softball. Callie was also the number 3 runner and team captain for the cross-country squad. When the snow flies, though, Callie really soars. She won both the 5K Freestyle and 5K Classic at Division I State Nordic Meet, helping the Falcons win a girls' Nordic title for the first time since 2003. The 2-time record Nordic Skier of the Year went on to take 3rd overall at Easterns and had 4 top 10 finishes at the U16 Junior Nationals.
I'm not sure that I know specifically what drives Callie. I think it's just in her heart and her soul to be a competitor. And I think the only way she knows how to work is to work hard. And you can't teach that. I feel like it's either in a person or it's not.
No one ever told me like I couldn't do it or anything. I think ever since I've been really little, I've just loved to compete. And I mean, when I was like 8 or 9, I did the Newport Ski Club, and there was a girl that I was racing against, and we were having a race, and I wasn't super competitive at the time, but during that race I decided I wanted to beat her, and I did. And I think ever since then I've been really competitive, and I just love, winning.
Callie is definitely one of the best athletes I have ever coached. Extremely coachable. She has so much talent that we haven't even tapped into yet. She is probably the hardest worker on the team, but it's so impressive to see her as a sophomore accomplishing the things that she's already accomplished. And I was an athlete through school, high school, and went off to college and played in college, and she already has things figured out that I didn't figure out until I started coaching.
I think I draw inspiration from Ida Sargent, who's on the U.S. Olympic team, and Susan Dunkley, who also competed in the Olympics. And it's really inspiring because they both come from Craftsbury, which is exactly where I train, and knowing that they both made it to such a high level with the same coaching as I have makes me think I can achieve higher goals. After high school, a goal is to ski in college, and then I'll see how that works out. If I do really well there, I'd like to ski professionally, and then maybe to higher levels after that. But if it doesn't work out, I'd be totally happy with just making skiing a part of my life after college and skiing for fun and doing a few races here and there, as long as it stays a big part of my life.
There are no boundaries for Callie. I think she could accomplish anything that she puts her little mind to and her heart into, and she's just very special, and I think she deserves all the success that she's gotten thus far, and I hope she has so much more to come her junior and senior year.
Katherine Cashman.
Katherine burst onto the track and field scene as a freshman at last year's Division I State Meet, winning the high jump, the 100 and 300 hurdles, and taking second in the 200 meters to help St. J. Academy seize its first ever girls outdoor track and field title. A starting forward this past fall for the D1 Hilltopper soccer team, the now sophomore continued her track excellence indoors. Our 2015-2016 Indoor Track and Field Player of the Year, Katherine won 3 state titles at the D1 State Meet, winning the 55 hurdles, 300 meters, 4x200, and taking second in the high jump. She scored 38 points to lead St. J. to its second straight indoor team title.
When Katherine really opens up her stride, when she really takes off running, which happened a little bit in practice indoors. We're in the field house, it's very tight corners, she's fairly tall, so it limits stride a little bit. But there were times where she would, maybe the second lap of a 2-lap sprint or something, she'd come around and just head down the back straight and open up and just go by people or just leave people. And you could tell the other people the other kids on the team are sitting there and they look across and they go, wow. She took off once in a 4x400 relay down at Dartmouth, and just obliterated the girl she was next to and made up so much ground on the people in front of her, just like caught them instantly. And everybody in the place just looks and goes, oh my God. It's kind of a standing joke in practice that you don't want to be one of the boys that starts right in front of her, because you might get embarrassed.
It's definitely still a process of gaining confidence, because it's kind of hard for me. I see that there's like Candace Hill out there and she's killing it, and I just, I still feel like I'm under the radar a little bit, and I could be doing a lot better. So yeah, I'm still working to be more confident, but that definitely comes with experience. Normally when I come across a challenge, it pushes me to be my best, and it actually makes me want things so much more. Like if someone's really close to me at a time, I want to beat them, no matter what.
Katherine's incredibly competitive, and I keep bumping into these same sort of things when you ask me these questions, because I've dealt with, probably at this point, thousands of athletes and a lot of really top level athletes. But she is really driven to win, and not that others aren't too, but when she is on, and when she gets the confidence and gets an idea that she can win, she's almost unstoppable.
So since my mom was a Division I collegiate athlete running for Texas A&M, it kind of has influenced me in the unconscious, I guess, because I always grew up with her running and everything, but it never really made me want to run. I kind of just loved running from the beginning, just the feeling of it ever since day one. So when I'm away from the track, I feel like I'm still on the track. I remember sitting in chapel earlier this year and just picturing a hurdle in front of me, and it's just always about track. It's my life.
Potential for Katherine. I don't think she's anywhere near her potential. Right now she's clearly the best hurdler in the state of Vermont. We're trying to take the next step. It's going to be very exciting to see where she ends up.
Alex Curtis.
The White Mountains Regional Senior had quite a year. It started last spring when the D3 state champion and record holder in the 100 and 300 hurdles went on to finish third in the 100 hurdles and fourth in the 300 hurdles at the New Englands, while being named the Record's Female Track and Field Athlete of the Year. In the fall, Alex earned the nod as the Record's Female Soccer Player of the Year, scoring a school record 23 goals and dishing 11 assists to lead the Spartans to 13 wins. In the winter, she was named a D3 All-State Honorable Mention point guard in basketball, took second place in the 55 hurdles at the D2 Indoor State Meet, and most notably signed a letter of intent to compete in track and field at the University of Vermont next fall.
Having coached Alex for 4 years in both soccer as well as track and field, I can say that she is a unique athlete due primarily to her willingness to be challenged.
I've always been a very competitive person, so when a challenge has been presented to me, I always give it 100%, because if I don't do that, then I look at it as a failure.
I think that Alex is driven by a very well-hidden competitive nature. Alex is incredibly competitive, but she is able to always have it beneath a level of sportsmanship and general respect. It's rare to have a star athlete like her who is that, frankly, also that well liked off the field.
My teammates are my everything. Without them pushing me in workouts and practice, without them being there to laugh, cry, dance, sing with, I couldn't do it. I don't think I'd want to. They're the ones who make it worth it, because when they're winning, when they're doing something good, when I'm doing something good, we're just there for each other no matter what, and that's what makes it worth it.
In basketball, she twisted her ankle in one of the first games, and she could have, being someone that's very good in track and going to college to run the hurdles in track, she could have just as easily said, I'm going to sit this out for a while, make sure I'm back 100%. But she was back, I think she missed one game, and then she was back, and because she wanted to be there for her team and for her teammates.
My toughest moment would probably be when I was a sophomore and I went to New England. I was seeded 6th, and I ended up doing a lot worse because during the race I hit a hurdle. It was the first hurdle I had hit, and I almost fell over, and after the race I was devastated. But I learned that nothing is going to go your way 100% of the time, and you need to use it as motivation, which I did for my junior year.
She went back to New England and not only scored in 300 hurdles, but she also happened to place in the high hurdles as well. And I think that's a very good example of something that she had to overcome in her athletic career here at White Mountains.
My parents and my parents, my siblings, my grandmother, they are at every track meet, every sporting event of mine, no matter what, and their devotion makes me want to do better. I want to perform well for them because they're putting in the time for me. Track meets last 8 hours long, and they're just sitting there watching and being good fans. So that makes me want to perform better and run for them.